The state of our union is getting stronger. And we've come too far to turn back now.
Next at 10, the president makes an appeal to save the American dream.
They called it Camelot. Tonight, the Kennedy Library releases recordings from the last days of the JFK presidency.
And with all the Oscar buzz tonight, Mayor Peter Carlisle checks out what it would take to entice more movie makers to come to the islands.
KITV4 News at 10, Hawaii's only one-hour late newscast.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kenny Choi.
And I'm Laura Yamada. Well, tonight, President Obama laid out his vision to the nation. The theme of his State of the Union address tonight, an economy built to last. And with the election looming at the end of the year, the president sounded part campaigner and part commander-in-chief. Nicole Killian is in Washington with our top story.
Laura, President Obama says the state of our union is getting stronger and the country has come too far to turn back now.
The President of the United States.
In his last State of the Union of this term, President Obama confronted concerns about the economy, and he declared the defining issue of our time is protecting the American dream.
We can either settle for a country where a shrinking number of people do really well, while a growing number of Americans barely get by. Or we can restore an economy where everyone gets a fair shot and everyone does their fair share and everyone plays by the same set of rules.
The president's push for economic fairness included calls for the wealthy to pay more in taxes. He also pressed for additional help for the middle class through mortgage and student loan relief and jobs.
Tonight, my message to business leaders is simple. Ask yourselves what you can do to bring jobs back to your country. And your country will do everything we can to help you succeed.
The president urged more investments and incentives for manufacturing and the energy sectors, urging Congress to support his agenda.
I intend to fight obstruction with action, and I will oppose any effort to return to the very same policies that brought on this economic crisis in the first place.
Facing a divided Congress in an election year, one moment that did transcend politics, a standing ovation for Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, who resigned this week. The president gave Congresswoman Giffords a hug as he entered the chamber before his speech. Now he takes his State of the Union message on the road, hitting 5 states over the next several days. In Washington, Nicole Killian, KITV4 News.
And the president also talked about not bashing nor defending the status quo for teachers. He added that schools need the flexibility to replace teachers who simply aren't helping children learn. Senator Dan Inouye chimed in on that part of the president's speech.
I think the teachers union should take that speech very, very seriously. That an educated citizen is an asset.
Senator Inouye mentioned that the first State of the Union that he attended was President Eisenhower's back in 1960. Meanwhile, Senator Daniel Akaka reflected on attending his last one as a sitting senator.
When I think about it, I've been through 6 presidents all of these years, but I'm glad I was able to attend all these years. But this has been special to me.
The president's blueprint also included using money saved from not fighting in Iraq to reduce the national debt and to upgrade infrastructure. Congresswoman Mazie Hirono and Colleen Hanabusa gave us their impressions of the president's speech tonight.
He talked about renewable energy, building new types of economies. He also talked about education. He talked about immigration. He talked about everything that I believe is necessary to make America the great nation that it is.
So I thought it was a very positive speech, and he said, here's some common sense things that you can just send to me right now and I'll sign it into law.
Now, the Democratic Party hosted watch parties all over the country, including several in Hawaii. Supporters applauded the president for his early focus on jobs, while critics questioned whether his actions supported his words.
1, 2, 3, win!
At the Democratic Obama for America headquarters at Ward Warehouse, supporters clung to the promises of Obama 2012 and the spirit of Obama 2008.
I want him to be excited, just like he was in the beginning.
First-time volunteer Connie Rebird praised Obama for his promise of more jobs, even for people such as herself, now forced to find work.
I'm going back to work at 66 years old to save my house. And I don't mind doing that so that our next generation can have a chance.
This is the guy who's going to inherit the problem.
Father Tony Agao brought his 12-year-old son Keenan.
At first I didn't really want to come.
Keenan's still green to the kind of politics that will likely affect his generation more than his father's.
And I really want him and his friends who I brought from school to get involved and to really see the re-election, the roots of it all, and to get excited about it.
I believe that President Obama has had 3 years to implement his policies, and I believe that they have failed, unfortunately.
But Hawaii Republican Party Chair David Chang says Obama's first term proves the next election needs to take the country on a different path.
Every year he's presented his jobs package, but unfortunately the action really hasn't been backed by the words that he said. Unemployment is still at an all-time high. About 70% of Americans from previous polls have said they believe the country's headed in the wrong direction.
It's a cynicism felt by Republicans and Democrats, both hoping the next 4 years, whomever leads it, will be a better 4 years.
Just tell the truth, tell where we at, tell them that we need to come together, not by classes or anything or races. We just have to come together as one nation.
Now, several local Democratic politicians attended the watch party, including Governor Neil Abercrombie. He says he liked what the president had to say and was glad Obama highlighted education and incentives for teachers.
Turning now to jobs here in the state, Hawaii's unemployment rate grew slightly last month. The State Department of Labor and Industrial Relations said that the seasonally adjusted rate was 6.6% in December compared to 6.5% in November, a slight increase. The fields of trade, transportation, and utilities lost jobs during the month. Construction, leisure, and hospitality industries all hired more workers. Nationally, the unemployment rate was 8.5% in December.
The state's House Labor Committee has passed a bill calling for an increase in the state's minimum wage. Hawaii's minimum wage has remained at $7.25 since 2007. House Bill 1691 would raise it to $8.14 by next year. That's an increase of about 89 cents. The increase is based on the federal government's poverty level for Hawaii. Now, next, the bill goes to the House Economic Revitalization and Business Committee.
A new crop of gambling bills have been introduced this session, and among them are ideas to allow for internet gambling, a statewide lottery, and slot machines in urban resort hotels and at the international airport. One bill calls for a standalone casino in Waikiki, although that may take some years to build. There's also talk about allowing gaming at the Hawaii Convention Center to allow gambling to start quicker.
We have the great liability right now with the ERS that we need to take care of. We have a health problem besides an education. We have all of these needs there. And nobody wants us to raise taxes, and we need the money.
The data is very clear what the payment is, what the social costs are, what the degradation of society is to pay for some of those quick fixes.
Gambling proponents say that gambling could help pay for a facelift for the 15-year-old convention center and to provide money during lean times. Bookings are down this year with only 40 scheduled so far this year. The Hawaii Convention Center and the Tourism Authority have not taken a position on gambling in the state.
Well, turning to weather now, after a dry start to the week, seeing some more showers popping up. Meteorologist Paul Drews joining us now. Sounds like we could see more. Paul, what's going on?
Well, we've been watching that cold front off to the northwest of the islands. We're starting to see more clouds and showers associated with that front starting to move over the island chain. On our pinpoint Doppler radar, you can see there are more clouds and showers over the northern islands. Now, earlier today, we did see a few showers for the southeastern side of the Big Island and Maui, but now we're starting to see those showers at the northern end of the island chain. And what we're seeing happen are those southeasterly winds combining with those southwesterly winds at the northern end of the island chain, and we're seeing a little more convergence. As we take a closer look at what's been happening here on Oahu, for the windward side, you can see where those winds have been converging, piling up a few more showers over the windward side of the island. In fact, Waiahole getting over an inch of rain over the past 3 hours. And we could see some more showers in the overnight hours and into tomorrow. So our Wednesday, we'll see some sunshine and some clouds with more of those showers moving in from the southerly direction. And we'll continue to have hazy weather. I'll have more details of our island weather coming up just a little bit later in the show.
All right, thanks a lot, Paul. Well, they blew in with gusts of more than 150 miles an hour.
Still ahead, the death toll and the destruction in the paths of tornadoes that have displaced hundreds.
Also ahead, Oscar frenzy has begun. We'll tell you who is nominated today.
And coming up at 10:30, what would it take to lure more movie makers to the islands?